Hello. So, I was inspired to make this video and talk about some things that have been coming up in my personal reality. And I guess by me sharing, I'm hoping that it may inspire some other people to start looking at it this way. So how do I start? So first and foremost, everything that I say here, this is my opinion, this is my experience. You don't have to agree with it. I'm just sharing it because it's what I've gone through and what I've experienced so far. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and see if you can make it apply. So when I started this whole path of spirituality, I was heavily into conspiracy theories. And I had a gun, I had three guns. A Beretta 92 FS, 9mm, a Tika T3, and an AR-15. And I had those things because I felt like I had to protect myself in some way, physically, because I didn't realize that we are all powerful. I didn't realize and self-actualize myself. So I taught myself how to make bullets. I had a bullet press. I made my own bullets. I went to the shooting range and everything. And then I realized that phrase that you've all heard in the spiritual community is you create your reality. So if you believe you create your reality, why then would you ever have to protect yourself? Why then would you ever have to shield yourself? Why then would you ever have to own specific weapons to protect yourself? It is to say that by having a gun, you are then perpetuating and creating the reality in which you experience to have to use that gun. It's the same phrase that Jesus mentioned, live by the sword, die by the sword. So I finally let those things go. I sold my guns, I sold my bullet press, I sold everything that I purchased when I purchased it out of fear. And this is going to go into the dream work and stuff, but I have to lay down this foundation first so that you can understand where I'm coming from in this perspective that I just realized and been receiving and been playing with. So for those of you who feel like you have to protect yourself, really analyze. If you feel you have to protect yourself, you don't fucking believe that you create your reality. Flat out. I'm just letting you know. You don't. Now, this goes into now dream work. I work a lot in my dreams. I love my dreams. Every morning I wake up, I remember my dreams very vividly. Lately, because I've let go of the story of having to own guns and having to protect myself in it, I've been having these dreams, and before I say that, I feel that dreams are a playground or a type of, I'm going to say battleground, but I don't really mean the battle word. It's like this area that training ground. There we go. I see dreams as like a training ground for us, that we're able to program our subconscious using that training ground. So, for example, in the dreams that I've been having lately, in the experiences, I'm finding myself having to fight my way out of a prison. I'm having to fight my way out of certain like post-apocalyptic shit. And then conveniently, there's a gun off to the side that I can go and grab if I make the choice. But what's interesting is when these dreams are happening, I feel that there's like these beings watching me, like they're observing me like a mouse, like a lab. And I realize now why. It's because they want to see if I reach for a gun to then have to use it on another person. to then have to use it on those fictitious characters or in that specific training ground. And I would say 85% of the time I've been reaching for the gun to have to protect myself. It's what I think. The other 15%, this is the actual cool part of this, is I realize my self-actualized form of how powerful I am, and I remember that I create my reality even in the dream space, which means I then turn into a lucid dream and I draw a symbol. I remember the symbol, I draw a symbol, and I push it towards the person that has these guns, that has these things, and it snaps them out of that violent tendency. It's as if like these dreams lately have been programming me and teaching me to use symbology or to use sigils to then send to a specific being to snap them out of whatever identity they're in that they want to use to hurt someone. So, well, you don't, that's the thing. Imagine, that's the thing. Let's take this for example. Let's say with the current mindset you have right now, all of a sudden you have all command of all the elements. You could bend water, fire, earth, air, all that shit. A lot of you would go and smite all the fucking rich people and all the fucking political party people because you have the ability to do so. But you don't have to. You can create a symbol that reminds them of their divinity. You could create a symbol that wakes them up, that fucking snaps them out of whatever psychosis that they're in to make them realize that they're doing these things. We are past the stage of violence. And that's what these dreams are teaching me. And that's what the beings that are observing the dreams that are teaching me. Because I see them, I feel them watching me when I'm in my dream space. And they want me to use these symbols instead of having to use a physical object to terminate another life form. And it just goes into, if you believe you create your reality, to what extent do you believe that in? Do you believe, oh, I only have certain power in certain areas? Okay. Then start creating some ritual or something to empower yourself so that you can believe that you are more. That's why rituals work. Rituals are used so that you can convince your subconscious mind that once you complete whatever action, say for example, by me flicking you guys off, that for me now I am fully embodied and fully empowered if I believe that. Because that is what a ritual is. It convinces the subconscious. So if you believe you create your reality, create something to solidify beliefs in yourself. It's the placebo effect. The placebo effect is the most underrated fucking scientific discovery ever. And not many people use it to their advantage. Start using it to your advantage. Program water. Start developing an actual relationship with water so that you can take in that vibration and start solidifying those beliefs. Because if you can control the placebo effect, you're going to be able to program anything you want into the water. Drink it, and now it is your potion. It is your elixir. It is alchemy, like Caitlin said, and you could do so many fucking things with it. So I'm going to give you another example of the dream space training grounds that I've been put in, because I operate a lot in my dream space. I even visit other people in their dreams, and I have people through my Facebook that I don't even know contact me and say, hey, you came into my dream and you were teaching me stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So the whole gun situation happens a lot in my dreams, and actually happened last night, which prompted me to make this video, because it keeps happening. They want me to use symbology, sigils, to then push it forward to the person that is creating the violence, to tone them down, to remind them for a split second that they don't have to act in violence. So another example of this is has to do with sexual promiscuity, has to do with primal sexual urges. So I'm going to speak for myself, and all of this I speak only for myself, And again, you could take what I say with a grain of salt. You don't have to fucking believe me if you don't want to, but this is what I've experienced. I used to be a pickup artist. I used to, from ages 24 to 28, I was very sexually promiscuous because I didn't want to feel my emotions and I wanted to put my emotions on others. Because when I was 21, I got cheated on, and for a good long while, I had a lot of anger towards women. And I read all these pickup artist books. So I developed this identity around sexual promiscuity. When I finally came to my senses and I started meditating and I started doing my shadow work and my integration and all this shit, I was then tested in my dream states and I was tested in the astral realms to see if I still embody that sexual promiscuity. I'm going to give you an example of this. In one of the dream spaces that I was in, I came out of this pool of water, and there was 2 naked women that were there. They were energetically blue, and then there was 2 men that were there, and they were energetically red. Immediately when I came out of that pool of water, the 2 energetically blue women asked me, "Do you want to have sex with me?" And I was like, "No, I want to know more about who I am and why I'm here." And they said, "Good." And they waved their hand, and out of the water, a temple came up. Doors opened. I walked up to this podium. The person behind the podium pointed at some books, and then I opened the book, and it was this balding scientist guy that I had never seen before. And then when I came back, I remembered what the balding scientist guy looked like, and 3 months after that particular experience, I was on Google Images coincidentally, and I saw that exact image, and I knew exactly what scientist it was. So to replay all that, if I was still in my sexual promiscuity and I was still in my primal urges, I would not have said no to those women. That's one example of how your dream space can teach you. And it'll teach you because the dream space is like our subconscious in certain ways. So when you are presented certain tests in that dream space and you remember them and you pass them, and when you wake up, you are now in full embodiment of that. Because if you're able to pass it in the subconscious state, you can do that shit here with flying colors. And it actually goes both ways as well. And because of that dream, because of that experience, I was able to be celibate for a certain period of time. And it's this work, this dream space work that I've been in, it's been amazing because when you take a look at it in the sense that it's all testing you, and it's testing what level of consciousness you're in, you're able to take that back with you into this world. So I guess the premise of this video is to keep pushing your thresholds and to keep pushing your level of creativity of reality creation, because some of you may think that you're not powerful. Some of you may think that, oh, well, I can only do this, or I can only do that. Start ingraining it in some way. Create some ritual. Do something that will solidify a belief to keep pushing you forward in your creative expressions. Sigil magic is a very awesome form of that. You can do water magic. You can do elemental magic. Whatever it is, do something that you feel by doing it, it empowers you. Because the more you do those things, the more you're able to tap into your imagination, your creativity. And all imagination is, in my personal opinion, it's our ability to tap into the quantum world, the quantum realities of what currently exists right now, because they're all happening at the same time. And you're just witnessing it with your ability, your God gift. You're witnessing it. And you can make the choice to bring it here by aligning yourself to that same imaginative realm that you see. Because if you see it in your mind, it exists somewhere already. It's already there. So really play with that. Play with your dreams. If you don't remember your dreams, start working on creating some way to remember your dreams. An herb that can help with this is called mugwort, mugwort. It will help a lot in remembering your dreams and create dream recollections. There's a lot of herbs out there to help you. That's why I personally love my dream states. They literally are training me. And I feel that once I ingrain it in my head, that I don't have to reach for a gun in my dream space to defend myself, and I could rely solely on symbology to push it to the person in front of me to either like subdue them or to remind them of their divinity. I can then take that into this realm, but I have to play it out there first, and that's what I've been doing. I know it sounds silly, far-fetched to some of you, but if you really believe you create your reality, start working on ways to solidify that. Start working on ways to push that narrative. Push your boundaries, push your limitations. Research the double slit experiment. Okay, so if you don't know what the double slit experiment is, go research that. It's a quantum mechanic experiment that shows when a particle is observed, well, when a particle is not observed, it has unlimited potential. Once the particle is observed, based on the person's perspective and belief system, that particle shifts based on that particular belief system. That's what I feel it is. Look up double slit experiment and research sigil magic and start programming your water. Start solidifying your relationship with water. Water is a medium. It holds frequency, it holds vibration. And guess what happens when you drink in that water? You align yourself to that frequency so that then you can vibrate at that frequency. We're fucking powerful. We really are. Yes. So keep pushing yourself. Get rid of that thought process that you think that you're not strong enough, you're not powerful enough. We are. We are. Laters.